Hello and welcome at Book Lovers Companion. My name is Edith, and right next to me is my lovely co-host, the Chattering Teacup.
Hello.
And here with us, returning guest from Iceland, Sólveig Pálsdóttir. Sólveig, welcome back on the show.
Thank you. Nice to be here.
Wonderful to have you back on the show. So we are here because your new book, Harm, came out this year, September 2022. Number 3 in the English translations in your Ice and Crime series. And we had the honor and the pleasure to be present at the UK book launch on the 20th of October in London.
Yeah.
It was
a really nice evening.
Yes, it was. And it was fabulous meeting you there in person. Mm-hmm. And we both come prepared. And I told you before I started the recording, nice job stringing us along again. I thought I knew who did it. Yeah, I am not good at detecting. That's official.
Yeah.
Now, shall we start with the victim in this case? Our doctor.
Yeah, with the victim. Yeah.
Yeah. It turns out he isn't the person, or he wasn't the person you would suspect him to be. In short, let's say he seems to be quite an a-hole, isn't he?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I don't want to give too much up.
No.
Every character, every person has its story.
Uh-huh.
And he has definitely his story, of course, and he is, he's not quite maybe a bad person. He has his faults. Mm. He's maybe comes from, certain way of thinking. Mm. And he has power, and power can be bad. If people don't have the right abilities to use it in the right way. But Ríkharður, he is what you in Icelandic we say afsprengi. He's the result of a certain way of thinking and certain society and social things that have been developing through the ages. Mm-hmm. So in a way, he is he's presenting some corners of our society. Do you get my meaning?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But everybody have their stories, and people are shaped from different experiences and what culture their upbringing is. From what kind they come from. Yeah.
And you just said he represents a certain kind of background, a certain kind of way of living in society.
Exactly.
Would you say this kind of behavior and how he treats other people is only prevalent in a certain age group or just in men? Or would you also say there are women?
Or is in a profession?
Or his profession makes him the way he behaves?
When everything comes together. No. Yeah, I would say so. When all these different angles comes together, it makes a person, but maybe he just gets lost on the way, somewhere when you lose this connection to the people that are not in the same class as you are. Yeah. Or profession,
Yeah.
But, his relationship with Diljá, the other main character is, I often write about power, and there's a lot of, there's a huge gap between them. But she needs him in a way, of course. Financially, she needs him. And then, the respect for the people, for this man who has more education, is more civilized, and, she has a troubled background. But I think it's always interesting to examine people who comes from different areas and how they combine and where the odds are. And, I find people interesting, all kind of people, So I don't want to talk about bad people or good people. It's just people. We have all our faults and
I think also
nobody's perfect.
Oh no.
Yeah. But this is, I think it's a really interesting area.
Yeah.
Power in society, in families, between people, in work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think with the other characters, we also see that they're more complex than they appear in the beginning.
Yeah.
And different experiences shape the way they behave, especially with negative experiences.
Negative.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And you said he's more sophisticated, he's rich, his girlfriend. I mean, you said everyone has his or her flaws, like we all do. Could it be, or would it be all right to say they both use each other in their own way?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
They do.
Mm.
They do. Definitely. Definitely.
And could we also say the way he behaves, sometimes his sophistication, his money, he uses it a little bit like a weapon. The way he talks to her, the way he treats her. When we meet him at the beginning of the book, for example, when he tells her she should speak a little bit less and things like that, and what we learn the way when they interview her mother, when she tells the police officers about the meeting, and he held her I don't know, a keynote speech about how to hold a wine glass, for example.
Yeah.
I mean, he uses that to make his point, maybe also to tell them, I'm up here and you are down here.
Yeah, but that's completely right. Yeah. He uses it, know. So they, every minute they feel that they are not as civilized, they are not as educated, they are not as high in society as he is. In this fine way, he is not aggressive, he's just very polite, but he does it. He's always putting some small things in, so they feel less about themselves,
Yeah, putting them.
Because he's a clever man.
Yeah,
he's very intelligent.
Yeah, he doesn't need violence to put people in their place.
No.
But on the other hand, Delia chose him because she wants something from him.
Yeah.
So
and it's also a for her, because she does not have strong self-esteem. She is rather weak. She's weak in a way because her past is preventing her from living her life fully. She has this difficult, she has this burden.
Yeah.
People with that have had problems with their mental health, they have to meet so many, we all have these unconscionable, all these bias, all these, it's not, we are unconscious about it, but we have this bias in us, we never forget that they, like Delia, she had to be in a hospital because of her mental health.
Yeah.
And people never forget that. This is always in the back of the head, And so she is stepping a bit up, being, this doctor's fiancé, She's, so, they need each other in a way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also,
even though it's very unhealthy.
Yeah. It is indeed. And I got the impression from the book that mental health or taking care of your mental health is a big thing at the moment in Iceland.
Yeah. And there are so many people. I read a lot. I read interviews. I talk to people, and I try to keep in, to follow with what people are thinking about. And I like to have, talks with all kinds of people, everywhere in society. It's so important for me as a writer. And I got the feeling that there are so many people looking for a quick fix.
Yeah.
So that's why, they can't see the wood for the trees. You have that saying, we have it in Iceland.
Yeah, we have to too, yeah.
They aren't prepared to do the work.
Yeah.
It's needed.
Yeah.
That's why I studied a bit about all these cocoa, all these treatments, cocoa and the ayahuasca. And, I'm not saying anything bad about it. It's just, it's not a quick fix. You have to do the work.
Yeah.
It's okay to try all these new areas, what is not traditional, but you will always have to do the work.
Yeah.
There is no quick fix. So that's why I put that thing in, talking about mental health, because I wanted to write about a person who was burdened with this past, with her past. So, yeah.
But it is not just...
And answer your question.
Yeah, perfect. But it's not just her who has been or is burdened by the past. I mean, all
the
of
other
them,
characters.
the other characters, her whole group of friends, they all have a big burden they're carrying with them all the time. And like you said, they think the quick fix, but it turns out,
Isn't it also maybe dangerous to put everything on one card and saying, okay, this experience will fix me?
Yeah,
which is
that's
most likely
exactly
not.
what I'm writing about.
Yeah.
There is no quick fix. There's no one pill. There's no one trip into the forest of Amazon or in Australia or whatever, Peru or whatever. You have to do the work, but maybe it can help you on the way. Maybe it's helpful in a way, but you have to do the work. So, and all these people, this group of friends, they haven't known each other for many years.
Yeah.
You have to think about where they met.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say too much.
No.
But, they were all looking for the same thing.
Yeah.
And I think most people have some stories, something they would like to get rid of in their past. I think probably most of us have something.
Yeah, definitely.
So,
and their hauntedness, I mean, you touched upon it in your background of your characters. I mean, some more, some less. I mean, my question is, they're also in a certain age bracket compared to the victim, for example. Do you think it's also their age that makes them more, maybe even gullible to try this pill to fix it in a quick way? Is it an age thing? Is it a background thing? Or what would you say? Or is it just the thing at the moment that right now we try to fix everything just, I don't know, with a quick thing, not just, like you said, putting much work into going through our issues?
Or is it just that younger people are more willing to accept that they have mental issues?
I could agree on both.
Mm-hmm.
I think like the ayahuasca thing and the cocoa thing and all that, that's a trend now, But I think we are more open, and that's a good thing to face our difficulties and problems and talk about them. And that's a wonderful thing. I was brought up in, nobody talked about anything, the problems. It's just soldier on, be strong, don't be weak. Just be strong and, don't make any drama about things, So I think it's a really good thing nowadays that people are more open they speak openly, more freely. That's a good thing. Really good thing.
But in a society like ours at the moment, where everything has to be fast and quick, like you said, the quick fix, maybe it's a bit too easy.
Yeah. That's the other side of this. Yeah. We want everything to be very fast and quick, and
we don't have time.
We go on the internet, and we maybe instead of trying to solve out your things with the right people, you go on the internet and you put something out on Twitter or Facebook or Instagram or whatever, and you get all kinds of response instead of, you're working things out in a more like professional way. I mean,
dear listeners, our CEO demands attention. I'm back in a moment. Our CEO, just explain, please. Teacup.
Yeah.
You said it's also a question, or it's my guess, it's a question of generations, because how we deal with it. You just mentioned it. Back then, you just kept on going, stiff upper lip and everything. And isn't that also a bit reflected in one of the colleagues in the police force, where he makes his jokes about the suspect and he says, oh, yeah,
Yeah. People are always whining and, You're talking about labor.
Yeah.
I assume. Yeah.
Exactly.
It's always good to have a contrast, Yeah. When you're writing.
Yeah.
And it's also that even if we talk more about mental illnesses, it's still not considered the same as, say, a physical illness. Because if someone maybe broke one's leg, it heals and then it's over. But if someone has a mental illness, it somehow often leaves a stain for the rest of their life.
Yes.
And it makes it difficult to speak about it.
Yeah.
May I also ask about the question of harm, because the book is called Harm. Is it true that nobody in the book is unharmed? Because all of them are harmed in a way.
Yes, that's true. You got it right.
One way or the other. I mean, when you look at all of our characters, they were all in a way harmed. Nobody has been left untouched.
No.
Even our detectives.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it would seem the perfect title then.
Yeah, you know Elsa Guido's story from the book before, Silenced.
Yeah. Yeah.
And she is still dealing with that issue. But I find it it's necessary that she comes, and important, that's the right words, that she comes out strong, and she doesn't want to be the victim for the rest of her life. Yeah. So you see the parallel between Diljá and her story and Elsa Guðrún, because some things can happen to you, like in these two cases, they can, stick on you. You can't get rid of them. So what you follow Elsa Guðrún and her struggle to be accepted as Elsa Guðrún, again, not the victim of what she went through. It's like I've heard people say that they got cancer, that they don't want to be the cancer. They're still the person, but they have cancer, but it's not, they are not the cancer, That's what I was trying to get through.
Yep.
And, so yes, that's true. Every person every character in this book has harmed in one way or another. They are not all that big. Some are smaller than the other, but we have to remember, even though I'm writing about all these society issues and all these issues like mental health and the generational trauma and the unconscious bias and among other things. We have to remember that despite all these considerations, harm is primarily a thriller. with characters and
Yep.
events that are, of course, close to our real life.
Yep.
Because I want to write about real life, you know, about people like you and me, you know, the person next door, you
Yep.
know.
Yep.
That's the main thing.
Yep.
So I hope that my readers or future readers won't be scared about all this talk about, you know.
No,
But you know, I have to I have to write about something. I have to have, I have to be passionate about what I write.
Yep.
So, like, I don't have a book this year, but I've already started on my 8th book. And that's because I was still thinking, you know, I'm not a factory.
Yeah.
You know, I'm a writer. I need to have something on my mind. I need to be passionate about something to write. And that's why I write. So I always have these issues on my mind. But of course, I'm writing thrillers. No.
And which also brings us to the question, how did you come by the idea for Harm? What gave you the idea? What came first? The idea for the victim, the doctor, or other things? Or what was it? What tipped you off to write Harm the way you did?
Funny enough, it was the nature in Westman Islands. I travel a lot around Iceland. I need the nature. I just to thrive, I need to go out to the nature. And I was in Westman Islands because of another book I was writing or thinking about at the time. And then I was in this, it's called Herjólfsdalur, it's the valley, where they have their big, you know, concert every year. It's like almost a national day for the small island. There's only like 5,000 people who live there, 4,500 or something. And, you know, people come all over for this big feast. And I was there looking at the high cliffs and the birds, you know, it's the puffin. We have a lot of puffins. And suddenly I came up with this idea about this luxury caravan standing alone there, because I was there after the big fest, the big feast. And like a week later or so, and then there was nobody there except only like 2 or 3 tourists. So then I saw this caravan and I just imagined this doctor flying in there. And it started to, you know, develop, and I started to improvise in my mind. And my husband left me alone because we were there together. You know, when I get a little bit strange, you know, I won't talk to him again. And I just started walking alone, talking to my phone, you know, recording. It happened like that. And then all this thing about ayahuasca and came in mind because I was just listening to some podcasts, and I went to like a small seminar about this thing. So, yeah, then it all came together. And Dilja was born in my mind.
At that certain moment, she was born there?
No, in Westman Islands.
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
Not Dilja, but a young woman, younger woman.
Okay.
And I was thinking about this, you know, fleeing from the island. The only way to go to the mainland is with a ferry. But it only takes like half an hour or so, like 30, 40 minutes. And it goes, you know, the ferry goes many times a day. So, and yeah.
But it seems like a very beautiful area, these Western Islands.
Oh, it is. It is, definitely. And it has a very remarkable and strong history because they have this, the volcano. You know, there are many islands. Westman Islands are many islands. And The biggest one is Heimaey. It's like the home island. It's the biggest one. And it's the only one that people live in. And one night, I think it was like 1970. Oh, I forgot. You have to Google it. The people there, the inhabitants, they woke up with that the sleeping volcano had started an eruption. And in few hours, all the inhabitants had to flee over to the mainland. It was terrible. You should Google it and read about it.
Yes.
And it's a huge, and it's a very interesting story. And it made a huge impact on everybody who lived there. And in the book, in Harm, there's one or two chapters that takes place in the, museum. Where it's called Eldheimar, the fire world. And you can see the remains of the houses, few houses, and you can read about the whole story. It was terrible. And but luckily, no one died except one man who got a heart attack.
Oh,
but luckily, all the ships and the boats were in the harbor, so it was easy to flee over to the mainland. But nobody was allowed there except for the rescue crew, that were trying to rescue rescue the properties and for many, many, many months. But they tried to stop the lava with cold sea, like when, to stop it.
To cool it down.
Cool it down. Yeah. And it made a difference. Yes. But when you come to the Westman Islands, you're so touched by this. It's so close to us in time. Yeah. And almost even the younger people that weren't born by that time, they are touched by it. This story. Everything reminds you of it. But so you can, there's a lot to see, and the new lava, and to bring on the bright side of it, the harbor is much better now and before the eruption, and the people are really nice. They didn't all came back. There have never been as many living there as before the eruption.
It must be strange returning after such an event.
Yes. And your house is ruined. And,
And
they've done a good job.
Yeah,
and they were not, it was not the whole town. I don't remember how many houses, but they were many. Yeah. And let's not forget, they have great restaurants.
That's important.
Best in Iceland. Yeah.
So now it's a very important tourist destination, would you say?
It's not crowded with tourists, but it's a really nice destination for tourists. Yes, I would say so. Just to take a look at the islands and sail between the islands, it's so beautiful. Then they have one of the most amazing golf courses in Iceland.
Okay. I'm not a golf player, but okay. For all listeners who are. Okay, good.
And the pumpkins.
They look funny. That's good.
Yeah.
And you did not besmirch the landscape by bludgeoning our victim to death. He died rather quietly. And which also brings me to the question, place. I mean, you have lots of places to choose from in Iceland to set your books in. Yeah. Beautiful landscape, beautiful setup. How hard is it to decide on the right
many
one?
options to get rid of bodies.
Yeah. How hard is it then to decide where to set your books? Just like you said, you were there on a trip and you decided. That's it. Yeah. How hard is it to find the exact right spot for your setting?
I think the spot finds me. Like in the Fox. My first book that was translated into English, the spot found me. Yeah. I just got this feeling, it started to grow in my brain, the story in the fox. So, yeah. And Silence, the book number 2 that has been translated to English, that book mostly takes place in Reykjavik. The beginning of my new book, the one I'm writing now, is in Reykjavik, but I don't know where it's going to take me. Maybe somewhere. Yeah, I think it's just inspiring to go to new places and be open for what the place brings to you.
Do you think you said the place found you?
Yeah, I think so, in the fox.
Okay. And do you think it might happen, since you also said you travel a lot, that you might have a place that finds you which is not in Iceland? And how would that impact you as a writer and your story?
Yeah, my first 3 books about Gudgeir and his team have not been translated to English because I was with another publisher by then. And in the first book, he goes to Glasgow and to Scotland. And in my third book, it would be called Pure in English. A part of it takes place in Sweden. It's called Smålandet. It's close to where, Astrid Lindgren. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Pippi Langström.
Yes.
She was born in Smålandet.
Okay.
So it's close to her birthplace. So I haven't been all, I don't locate every book in Iceland, but mostly.
Yeah.
It's when I go to other countries, it's only for a chapter or 2 or so.
And did you feel the influence of the place in your writing? The different place? Did you feel the influence of the place in your writing?
Yes. And I have to go there. I have to stay there. Some writers, they just Google. They just use Google Maps. And, but I have to go there. I have to stay there. And in Harm, I got this idea visiting Westman Islands. And then when I had started writing the book, I went again and I stayed there for a week. And I stayed in Herjólfsdalur, in this valley, in a caravan.
In a luxury caravan?
No. But it was okay. But I went to look at, to take a look at, the luxury ones, that cost many millions.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but I had to experience it by myself. Yeah. Of course, I used my imagination, but I have to get the right feeling, get it in my bones.
Yeah.
So, could you choose a destination you'd like to visit and then set something there? Or you go on a research trip? Or does it have to somehow appear in your mind? That's where you need to set the story.
I travel a lot, as I told you before. And if I get the feeling, I go again or stay there for a longer time. There has to be something strong about the place. Has to be something that really appeals to me. I visited the Westfjords this summer. I have been there before. But the landscape is enormous. It's, the mountains they are so many and they are so huge and you are so small comparing, we human beings, we are so small in this landscape. So maybe someday I will write a story that takes place in the Westfjords. But Wilgeir Fransson, he comes from a part of the Westfjords. Yeah. Yeah. Did this answer your question? I forgot the question. Sorry.
Don't worry. But
Yeah.
would you say that one, or can you imagine, let's put it that way, can you imagine that one day you open a map and close your eyes and just, I mean, if it's not right in the middle of the Pacific, but just put your finger on the map and say, oh, I'm going here and let's see what happens. And then I'm going to write a book about it. Could that happen? Do you think?
Probably, but it sounds like a very nice thing for students in creative writing, some good practice.
Okay.
No, I don't. No, I need something more.
Okay.
I need something more. But it's a good thing for when you're practicing.
Okay.
Like you write one sentence and then you try to write something around it, or yeah.
And
maybe.
Who knows? I also have a question about, you said you were interested in people. We have never been to Iceland before, and we imagine that the landscape in Iceland is quite different. Depends where you are. So how would you say, as someone from Iceland, does the landscape in Iceland shape you as people?
Yeah, definitely.
And in what way? How would you describe it? How does the landscape, the different parts, shape you as Icelanders?
I can only speak for my own behalf on this matter, because when I was very young, I was sent to a very isolated farm in the east side of the country. It was almost every children was sent to stay on a farm for like 1, 2, or 3 months every summer. It was considered as very healthy and good for young children. And I was lucky. I was in a very good place and with good people. And but we are not all that lucky. Some had a very bad experience. But it was part of our life. So we learned to be in a harmony with the nature, as I did from a very young age. I was on the east side of Iceland with very, very strong landscape. It's so powerful, with the glacier and the black sands and huge mountains and rocks, and it's very strong, and it shaped me. And I need to go out to the nature every year. I would just go mad. But I can't speak on the behalf of younger people that don't have that connection. Like young people grown up nowadays, they are not sent out in the country except for if they have like grandparents or relatives. So maybe they are not as connected as I am to the nature. I think it's very important to be connected, because otherwise we just lose this important earthly connection,
Yep.
So I can only speak for myself on my own behalf, and it's very important. It's very important.
And probably if you don't have a connection, you don't care too much about it.
Yeah.
And that's also very important, I think.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah. Yeah.
I also wanted to ask you, Sólveig, since you are a very successful writer now with your translations, what would you say, in your opinion, is the reason why, for example, Icelandic fiction or Nordic fiction is so popular? What makes it so popular? What is the key ingredient, or not just one, maybe more than one key ingredient that makes it so popular?
I don't have the answer. No,
maybe
I don't have the answer,
guesswork. Any idea what makes?
Yes, of course. When these the first, in the old days, when Sjöwall and Van Löf, the Swedish couple, You heard about them?
Oh, no.
I think they are almost the first one that got popular. They were in like 70 something or 80s. And they wrote about, and it was not this harsh, not this harsh noir. It was not this dark with guns and with the, very cold people that were just, all this, like Le Carrier, like many of these Raymond Chandler and, this. They wrote about their chivalry and valor. They wrote about people that are doing the work as police, in the police. And they humanized this. And then later there was Henning Mankell, like, for example.
Yeah.
And, many others. That they were writing about social issues, and the main characters they got they were more humanist. They had all these faults and flaws, and many of them were jacked too much or had their problems in their personal lives and blah, 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 so on. Maybe it's just that. They were closer to us than the heroes before.
They're more relatable.
They were closer. They were more relatable than the other. Like in the British genre or French or German. I don't know, but maybe I'm just guessing. So like in the later, the girl with the dragon tattoo, he is writing about, Stieg Larsson is writing about like these problems, like child abuse and difficult social issues. I think so. That's but I think that Nordic noir is developing very fast, and we got more and more different angles in the genre. So I think it's really interesting where it's going now, because like the Icelandic authors that have been translated, we are very different from each other.
Yeah.
We all have our specialities, but I think so. Yeah.
I wonder, as you mentioned the translations, does the fact that your books are being translated influence the books you write from that point on?
I try not to, because I think it's really important to keep my identity clear, right? What I know, not trying to impress foreigners. So I won't be putting elves or some strange thing into my books just to put them there, just to try to impress foreign readers. No, I think stick to the basics, stick to your own nationality and what you know, and that will impress the right readers, readers that appreciate what you're doing. Like, if I read a book from Afghanistan or from India or something, I want to get, a view, an inside view into that society. I don't want it to be globalized. I want I want it to be pure.
Yeah.
So, I'm not going into some mainstream just trying to be popular. No, never.
And
perfect. Yeah, that's perfect.
If you stay true to yourself and the style you're writing, and you're writing from a certain country, it gives the reader from somewhere else the possibility to travel there.
Yes.
And experience something new.
Yes, that's the beauty of literature. You get this insight. You learn about other people, how they think, how they live. And you travel through reading books.
Exactly.
And you learn about everything, the culture, the buildings, the nature, how people think, how the society works. And that's the good thing. That's the magical thing about literature.
Yeah.
Yeah. The thing I love the most about literature.
And do you think that writing crime fiction or writing thrillers makes it even easier because the genre is so versatile, more versatile than other genres, for example?
Yes, I think so. I got into writing crime fiction just for, it was just a coincidence. I wasn't going to write a book. By that time, I was a teacher, but I always been into some creative things. And I was an actor before. Before I started teaching, and I needed something. I needed to be more creative. So I have a degree in literature, but I went into a course in creative writing and the teacher he's not with us anymore, a great writer. And I started to write, and he encouraged me, and I wrote a few chapters. Then I needed more thrill in the story. And that's how it happened. Yeah, I needed more. I wanted, the blood to streaming through my veins while I was writing, I needed some excitement.
Yeah.
So I just needed some excitement in my life by then. So I sometimes say it as a joke, but I didn't, do something like divorcing my husband and go to India or anything. No, I just locked myself up in a room and started to murder people in books.
Oh, sounds exciting. I mean,
in books is important.
Yeah, in books.
But don't misunderstand me, because I'm not interested in murders.
Yeah.
That's not the thing. I'm interested in people, and I'm interested in why people become the way they are and why they do certain things.
Mm-hmm.
And like in all my books, it's something happens mostly for some coincidence, and the snowball starts to run, it starts to become bigger and bigger and bigger until you can't stop it. Yeah. You're not used to this metaphor, the snowball.
No. I know that. I know it. I mean, you are right, because when we look at the books, and especially now since we've just finished your book Harm, I mean, it's tragic. I mean, one way or the other, it's tragic.
Yeah.
It's not, and you mentioned it before when you were on the show, you do not dwell on the gore. It's not about gore. It's not about blood splashing all over the pages.
Never.
And it's not necessary. Like you said, getting to know the characters, what motivates them, what are their reasons, and can we relate to them? And I think we can relate. We can relate to all your characters one way or the other.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Teacup.
I think there's enough drama in human interactions.
Yeah.
You don't need the blood and gore.
No, absolutely not. And you don't even need, I said it before, you don't even need the washed out detective. I mean, it's been overdone by far right now.
Yeah.
And I also said it before, it's refreshing. Thank you for not making him the washed out, drunk and whatnot.
Yeah. That was, I did that very, I was determined to do that, to create my main detective as a very just normal man with a normal and healthy life. Yeah. But he couldn't be that normal that he would be boring.
He's not boring. No, he's not boring.
You always have to have something that's interesting.
Yeah.
And I believe he has that.
Yeah. He does. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And it's also nice to see him go shopping for dinner and being in his thoughts and forgetting everything around him. Yeah. It makes him so tangible.
human. It makes him human.
Yeah.
And not a superhero, like you said before, the Raymond Chandler types of superheroes, or I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. They are either, like you said, superheroes or complete flawed characters, and yet at the same time they are superheroes. No, he's a human being.
Yeah.
With all his prejudices and biases, and he needs also his wife, his colleague, to even him out a little bit.
Yeah. Cyrus, he used to be on the top.
Yeah.
But now Cyrus is. And she is maybe a bit as this comic relief hence,
Especially with her weekly motivational sentences where everybody says, what?
And nobody dares to say something.
Yeah, no, of course not.
Yeah.
What does it mean? I haven't got a clue. Yeah, true. But she's also needed, I think. It gives everything the right balance.
Yeah. Thank you.
Character-wise.
Yeah, thank you.
That's perfect. So, Sólveig, what would you like to share with our audience? What is to come? Plans? Future plans? What would you like to share?
Yeah, my future plans. You're thinking about my...
Yes. No, and I'm not talking about being a grandmother who spoils the grandchildren. Just your writing future.
Yes, I have started on writing my 8th book, number 8. Imagine it's only 10 years since my first book was published. So many things have happened, and I'm so grateful for it. And now I have just started on my 8th one, and I always just try to do my best, and hope for the best. But, I always try to make the next one better than the last one. That's my only goal.
Mm-hmm.
And that's my hope for the future, to write better books and more books.
More books, please, yes. They're already perfect as they are, in my humble opinion. Give us more.
Thank you.
You're going to read them?
Yes, we're going to read them. Of course, we are going to read them. And one last question. You will be at Iceland Noir this year?
Yes, I will. Yeah.
Okay.
It's. I'm really looking forward to it.
Mm-hmm.
It's a great noir. It's a great festival.
Mm-hmm.
And there are so many interesting people coming there. Yeah. So, will you be there too?
Oh, no, sadly not. It's a question of time and money. And there has also been some encouragement on Twitter about e-tickets. Maybe can you put it on a wish list?
Just for suggestion?
Yeah. E-ticket. Yes.
Because that we could attend if there would be the possibility of.
Okay.
Because if you can watch it via Zoom or I don't know any other.
Oh yes.
That would be great.
I don't
because
know about that because I'm not part of the organizing thing. But I hope so.
Because a lot of people would be interesting to attend in that way, because we can't all travel.
Yes.
And you don't want us all to come.
Yeah, you don't want us all to come because, you don't.
Might be too much.
But for your little island, it might be too much for your little island.
No. No.
Nah.
It wouldn't be.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be. Iceland is, the country is really big, but the population is small.
Yeah, we can't.
Iceland is 3 times bigger than Denmark.
Looking at it that way, I mean.
No, we have enough
room.
Land, but the population is small.
Yeah.
Because it's a harsh.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We have this.
Yeah, but it's a harsh landscape, but you don't come across as harsh, you Icelanders. You come across as very nice and cozy.
Oh, thank you. And likewise.
Thank you. I mean, it does not reflect in the way you are received by others. I mean, people from Iceland, they're always nice and they're good fun, and it's nice being around you.
Yeah.
You seem relaxed.
Maybe we need to keep warm inside.
Yes.
It's so cold outside.
Maybe. Yeah, but so that would be a great wish from a lot of people, I think, to have Iceland Noir on some sort of Zoom presentation, so we can watch as well.
Yeah.
Especially if you can't
definitely
travel.
send a questionnaire, send them, email them and ask about it. And I can do that too.
I might do that.
Yeah.
I might do that.
Yeah.
But I mean, why not? All they can say is no. I mean,
You can always ask.
you can always ask.
Yeah.
And
you put in the thought, the idea.
Yeah, because I'm certain that they would sell a lot of tickets, because there's a lot of interest in Iceland and in the festival.
Yes, yes. I can write to Ragnar Jónasson right after this chat. Ask him about it. Yes, no problem.
Yeah.
We're good friends.
Yeah, wonderful. Yeah. So I will write as well, maybe. Sure. Iceland Noir, and ask the question, definitely. Sólveig, is there anything else you would like our listeners to know?
About my books.
Whatever. About your books, whatever.
Whatever. You caught me off guard. Yeah. I would just like peace in the world. That's the main thing. Yeah. So we could all live in peace and harmony. Even though on fine books, I'm a very peaceful person. Yeah.
You get rid of the aggression all in writing.
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
The best way. The best way.
I think crime writers are very, most of them, almost everybody are I have met a very warm and nice person. I think we get all this, we get you get everything bad out of your system by writing. So it's like a therapy in a way.
True. Yeah. True. Yep. And rumor has it that romance authors are the most dangerous ones.
Yeah, I heard that too. Yes. They're always stabbing each other in the back. Yes. Yeah. I think writing crime fiction is a way of, the Greek word catharsis.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Like,
get rid of all the bad. Yep. Absolutely. Yeah, probably.
Yeah. No, I don't have any big thing to announce, except I'm going to concentrate on my new book. And I hope that my readers enjoy my books that are already out in English. And of course that I will get some new readers. I hope so. So, and it's just a wonderful feeling that people that read other languages can read my work today. It's a great feeling. And I'm really grateful for Quentin Bates, my translator. He's so great. There are not that many that can translate from Icelandic. So I'm very lucky. And Carlos Books, this new publishing house, they are so brave and they have a strong vision, and they're brave and visionary.
Yep.
And I hope for the best for Carlos Books.
So do we.
They won't go bankrupt because my books.
No, they won't. No, they won't. No.
I know. They're doing well. I know.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah. And I'm sure you might gain quite the audience also across the pond, because as far as we know, Icelandic or Nordic authors are very much sought out in the United States as well.
Yeah.
Your audience is growing, I suppose.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I think so too. That's a really good thing.
Yeah. Teacup? More questions for us? Nope. So, nothing more from us. So Sólveig, thank you again for joining us, for making time for us.
Thank you.
It was a pleasure.
Really nice talking to you, and
thank you.
Thank you for reading my books.
It was our
It's a pleasure.
always.
You did enjoy this episode as much as we did? Then hit subscribe and don't miss the next episode. Also, make sure to follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. If you like to support us and buy us a coffee, you can do so via Buy Me a Coffee and other platforms. You can find all the necessary links in the description. Until next time.